So you've done the first video and you know how to get yourself on the mat and into neutral position and thoracic breathing. Get there first before you attempt this, because you need to make sure that you've got your body into position. Every part of Pilates works your core, because your core is what is going to give you good posture. It is what is going to support your body in the way that it should be supported. It's going to help your other muscles not to be overworked. So core work is very important. It's not just about having a six-pack. And the rectus abdominis, the six-pack, that's just one of the muscles. You've got core muscles that go all the way down to your pelvis, that reach all the way across your body. You've got core muscles going up your back along your spine. You've got core muscles in your lower back. So we want to get all of these activated, and we want to stop the pain in our lower back because it's overworking to make up for these weak abs. So one of the best ways to get started in a workout and doing core work is with the 100. So we're in neutral position. We're doing our thoracic breathing. Tray of marbles. Make sure it's sitting flat, okay? Inhale to prepare, and on the exhale, we're gonna lift our legs. Now, we want a 90-degree angle, hip and knees. We wanna keep this angle. Don't want too low. You don't want your back to arch. We're holding the contraction. We're breathing into our lungs, and we're holding a neutral pelvis. So, the 100 itself, your hands, you are raised so that you can work your full abdominals. That is the progression that we're gonna get to, and the legs out, we'll get to there. But for today, we're gonna do it at a beginner level. So, we're gonna keep our head down, and we're gonna grab a towel. This is my craft towel, so it's all beat up. I'm gonna put this towel a little bit unrolled at the base of my skull, under my neck. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna help me with the tension that happens to form in your neck when you're holding everything down. See, I'm gonna be putting a lot of work here into my lower abdominal muscles. And that's naturally gonna make my back arch and my neck tense. So I'm gonna set myself up so that doesn't happen. So, got a towel under my neck. I'm in neutral position. I inhale to prepare. And on the exhale, legs up. Now, I'm gonna take my arms and I'm gonna pump. This is about the inhale and the exhales being even. So I'm gonna inhale, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Now these hands are pushing through water. These hands are doing actual work. I'm keeping this core contraction here, and this is where the core muscles are doing most of their work. Holding this neutral pelvis, making sure that I'm keeping the work out of my lower back and just in my lower abdominals. It may not feel like that much of a stretch, but you may start to feel it along the side here, or you may even be feeling it down in your pelvis. And the idea is to count for 5 breaths in and out for 5 breaths. And you work up to 100. So that's the first move. If you can do it with your head raised and your legs out, you're gonna warm up your whole entire body. But we'll get to there. For now, we're just gonna do it with our knees bent. And at any time when you need a break, take your knees and give them a nice stretch. Now, you're not trying to curl your body up. You want to still be elongated in your torso. You want to take your knees and bring them to you. So you'll feel a tilt here. We're stretching out the psoas. Everything here along our hips, along our side. This is going to tighten things up, but it's also going to help to strengthen it. So, the next exercise is one that can leave you so sore after. And it looks so easy, but if you don't have lower abdominal muscles, this is a challenge. The idea is to work up to a set of 10 on each foot, but you do what feels comfortable to you. These are called toe taps. So We get into starting position, which is tabletop, knees in tabletop. So inhale to prepare, and on the exhale, bring our legs up, keeping this 90-degree angle. You're on a hinge right here. This does not come apart. This is what works this. So you inhale to prepare, and on the exhale, you're just going to lower your leg. You're pushing it out from the hip with no expectation of the toe touching the ground. You want to hold the contraction more than you want to get that foot to the ground. Toes pointed may cause a cramp, but it's actually going to help the movement be where it needs to be in your lower abdominals. So we're inhaling, exhaling. Inhale. Now, what I'm checking for when I'm doing this move, most importantly, is that I'm holding this contraction and that my lower back does not arch. When my lower back arches, I've put the movement here and I've taken it out of here. So if you have to put your feet down, if you have to move your pelvis again into neutral to get yourself in position, make sure you're holding this contraction. If you can only do one on each side, only do one on each side. You can work up to 10. But the goal is what you're going to find after you do this movement is that your pelvis, it's at the bottom of your pelvis and the bottom of your abdominals are sore. Maybe not directly afterward, but a few hours later, you'll thank me or you'll remember me. So, another good on your back exercise for your core are single leg stretches. And again, we're going to do them at a modified version so that we're working as much of our lower abdominals as we can. So, let's hug our knees in for a second. Give it a nice stretch. You can rock a little bit. All right. We inhale to prepare, and on the exhale, legs into tabletop. Now from here, we're going to keep our head down. We're going to push our leg out on an exhale. Bring it in on the inhale. Push it out on the exhale. Bring it in on the inhale. Now, it may not seem like that much work, but everything here stays still. Nothing moves. If you're feeling this in your lower back, you need to adjust your pelvis. You've lost neutral position. This tray of marbles stays here. This thoracic breathing stays here. You're going to push this leg out. If your leg won't go all the way out, that's fine. You go to your range of motion. So as soon as you start to feel the movement in your back, that is the end of your range of motion. And if it's just this far, that's fine. The idea of these movements is to stretch and strengthen the correct muscles. So doing it 5 times incorrectly is not going to be as effective as doing it once correctly. So again, neutral pelvis, knees in tabletop. You exhale the leg out. You bring it back in. And you want to work up to 10. Now, after you do these few little exercises, you may have some foot cramps, you may feel things a little bit tight, so we're going to take our body, move our pillow, and stretch and arch that back that we were trying not to arch. Oh, maybe move your hips to the side a little bit. Now, I'm going to show you one more move. It's somewhat advanced, but it's an isometric hold. It's not a count of 10, it's a how long can you do this for. So if you start at 10 seconds, you're still going to get something in 10 seconds. You know, build up to a minute if you can. I'm not even going to attempt a minute. I'm going to get you into position and maybe hold it for 20 or 30 seconds. So, everyone knows a plank, right? We're going to advance our plank a little bit, and we're going to make sure that we're working our lower abdominal muscles. So, let me tuck this in so you can see. Again, I want to get into position. I want my knees in line with my hips. I want my wrists in line with my shoulders. So I'm going to take however long I need to be in position before I attempt this. Once I get into position, I want to make sure that my pelvis is neutral, and I want to make sure that I'm doing my thoracic breathing. So I'm in position, everything looks good and lined up. I'm going to curl my toes, keeping this position, not moving. Inhale to prepare, and on the exhale, lift. And I'm going to sit in this position for as long as I can. This is going to work my lower abdominals. This is going to stretch muscles in my feet and help to prevent plantar fasciitis. This is going to strengthen my upper body. This is going to do a lot of work in a little bit of time, but it only works if I'm holding this contraction. As you can see, I'm already starting to shake, but this is a highly effective move. If you've only got a minute, I would spend a minute in this hold, and then you just set it down. So, it's a few core exercises. Work them in with the workout. Obviously, stretch first, stretch after, work other parts of your body. We can move on to more advanced things on the side, and we can change these modifications later to make these little bit of moves even more dynamic. But for now, try these few moves and see how you feel. Okay.